this is the essence of and the difference in the game, and I think this is where this space and this environment can be very dangerous in golf, yet can equally be very powerful if it's used in the right way. If we fall into the trap of measuring every shot on a scale of good or bad, then we're seeking perfection, because we always want to be good, or we always want that top end of that scale, and therefore that becomes our benchmark for measuring against every other shot. So actually I'll have very inexperienced golfers and I'll ask them to hit the ball at that 200-yard marker, and they'll miss it 5 yards left, and they'll say, I've missed it left. And that is the feedback genuinely they're giving themselves. They've missed it left. And I'm thinking, okay, based on the task and the picture of perfection, yes, you've missed that left. But if I was taking you on the golf course, that shot's breaking 90 every day of the week, and you can't break 100 at the moment. So we need to scale and give ourselves helpful feedback. So I'm not bothered about whether it's positive or negative. I'm interested mostly in how helpful the feedback is. And again, getting clarity around, am I trying to improve lowering my scores on the golf course? Am I trying to improve playing golf, getting better at playing golf? Or do I just want to hit a perfect golf shot, or what I might perceive to be a perfect golf shot on any scale? The complexity in golf is, have you ever hit a good shot that's worsened your chances of scoring? Have you ever hit a bad shot that's improved your chances of scoring? So again, the complexity is there in a sense of, yes, I don't necessarily want to play bad shots, because that doesn't satisfy my ego very much.
Exactly.
But equally, if I play bad shots all the time, I'm not going to achieve my target, and I know that. But what I need to do in the moment is try and understand, okay, was it a good shot or a bad shot? How did that impact my scoring? Which bit of information do I want to put out that's going to help me progress going forward? Okay. So when we're in this environment here, let's say we're on a scale of breaking 90. So you mentioned that you've kind of found your space at 100. You kind of had that idea of breaking 90. You'd like to break 90. So from a tee shot perspective, and again, it's only a tee shot perspective, let's see what that looks like in relation to breaking 90. What does a 90 tee shot look like? So you at the moment, I imagine you've got a vision of that. I've got a vision of that. Let's see how closely they match up. So the first few shots, we won't worry too much. Like, just get yourself swinging, just get yourself loosened off. You tee the ball up, and you play the balls whatever speed rate you want to play them at, and we'll go at the 200-yard marker. Okay.
There's my top.
So as you're hitting these, like, just give us once you feel like you've got into it, give us that's the kind of thing that happens, or actually that's a really good one.
That happens.
Okay.
I top it. Topped it again. Similar. That's identical to the last one.
Okay.
Keep going?
Keep going in a sense of, if you feel like you're just getting yourself warmed up, if you're starting to think, all right, I want to improve that performance, what I'm interested in then is, what are you going to change? So you can either keep going and that's probably and wait till you hit a good one, or you,
I feel warmed up.
Okay. So what are you going to do to then start thinking about, right, I want that ball to launch high, and obviously in that direction. So what are you going to do different? What's going to be different?
Well, I'm just gonna think that first, and see, because that was working for me recently. And there it goes.
And there it goes. Was that a good there it goes, or was that a bad there it goes?
I got it more than a foot off the ground. There it goes.
Brilliant.
So that I'd be interested to see if I did that again, repeated that. Nope. Look at that. When I top it, it jams down, and then that's where the topspin's coming from. So I must be hitting it. I can't tell, but I must be hitting it right underneath it.
Okay. Let's have a go at this then. So what I want you to do is step up to the tee pad, pop the ball down. You don't need the ball. And what I want you to do is, I want you to imagine we're going to hit it up into those wires, right? So you're going to hit it above the third wire that you can see there. But I want you to make a swing, and I want you to get the tee peg to spring out the ground. Okay, so you hit the tee peg,
Yeah.
but it didn't come out the ground.
Nope. Same.
Yeah.
Interestingly, Mark, is like, I think early on, like where the positioning is in my, not to be exact about that, but it is, I know it's forward.
Yeah.
So if my down point is here and I'm topping it every time, that, I'm curious, can I switch over and just move that into my...
You could do, but that's going to potentially have a negative impact.
Okay.
So it's definitely going to make it easier to get the tee peg.
It's a band-aid, but not a...
Yeah.
Got it.
So I want you to figure out from where, and again, interesting that you say that.
Yeah.
So you know that the ball, and again, this is one of the things about golf, we know all this information.
Yeah.
Those first few shots you were playing, you did not have your ball forward. As you've started to think more about launching it higher, you've started to move your ball further forward.
Interesting. So that's, we want to try to not be adjusting those things. We want to adjust, I don't know.
So from where you're starting, so definitely want the ball position in a place where you can launch it high.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's definitely forward.
Yeah.
So if you think about the arc of the swing, if you stand in front of me.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're thinking about the arc of the swing.
Yeah.
You definitely want the ball to be, the bottom of that swing to be below the arc.
Okay.
Be behind the ball.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I'm striking it on the upswing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I should still be able to collect the tee.
Bring that tee off
Because
the ground.
the difference could be is if the bottom of the swing's here, I'm going to hit the tee.
Yeah.
If the bottom of the swing's here, I'm now not going to hit the tee.
Yeah.
So see the difference?
Yeah.
So if it's up off the ground, now I'm going to get what's going to happen here.
Okay. Yeah. Can I do a practice?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I'm still trying to hit the tee off.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't.
There it is. There it is. So pop the ball on the tee, and your goal is to get the tee to spring out the ground.
It sprung.
And what happened to the launch?
It was up, for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yep. Try it one more time.
Yeah.
Now in my brain, I'm like, well, can I repeat that? But I don't mean repeat as in the form. I'm trying to repeat the outcome.
You're trying to repeat striking the ball out, the tee out the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Same thing.
Yeah.
Good.
So launch better,
Yeah.
tee springing out the ground.
Yeah.
Do we need to go any more than that? You happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so that shot, so where would the ball need to, distance-wise, where would the ball need to go in relation to, how far would it need to travel in relation for it to break 90? So how far would it need to carry for you to consistently break 90?
Well, I would say as far as possible.
Yeah, so that's gonna help.
That's what my ego says.
Yeah. But from a numbers perspective, we broke the holes down and says, well, actually, I want to break 90. So I've got 5 shots on a particular. I've got a 400-yard hole, and I've got 5 shots to complete that hole in. How far does this tee shot need to go in order for us to achieve, whether it's a good shot or a bad shot?
I mean, doesn't it? It's hole dependent, isn't it? It's not hole dependent.
And the reason why is it not hole dependent? Because you've got different targets for each hole. So if it's a 200-yard hole, you might give yourself 4. If it's a 150-yard hole, you might give yourself 3. If it's a 400-yard hole, you might give yourself 5. And if it's a 500, you might give yourself 6 shots.
Yeah.
So you just need to know that that club from the tee has a reliable distance, and if you consistently get that distance, then you can consistently hit those targets.
Got it.
Now, if your target is from 500 yards to get it in 4, then that needs to go further than if you've got a 200 hole that you're trying to get it in 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
So what number do you think that is to break 90?
What number distance?
Yeah, how far does that need to go?
To break 90 on the whole course? I don't know.
180 yards.
That's it.
Now, the difference is...
Why even bring this puppy then?
Well,
just bring a 5-iron and make call it a day.
So if breaking 90 becomes you value breaking 90, now you're open to new strategies, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not telling you, but now you're going, yep, okay, well, if that's all I need, I'll just use my 5-iron.
Yeah.
Okay? But that means you can't break a 80. Because at 180 off the tee is never going to be long enough to be able to break 80. So to break 80, we've got to be hitting it about 200, 210. So so all we need to know is, right, if I can get a good one that goes 210, 220, but my bad ones go beyond 180 on a regular basis, then I'm going to use that one because it's always giving me an advantage, because my bad ones are doing its job and my good ones are making it even easier. So that's why I would use that one and get good at using that one.
It's the same concept with like trying to hit a 30-foot putt, thinking this is going to go in the hole, versus hitting, perfect drive rather than just a good shot.
Yes. Yeah. Because when you take that approach of I want it to go as far as I can, all of a sudden every bit of feedback you give yourself can be benchmarked against that. So if there's any ounce of you going, yeah, but I could hit that further, because I'm wondering whether there's a part of you going, yeah, Mark, they've launched higher, but they keep going right. I don't want to go right, I want to go straighter. And again, the interesting, you can't fix everything in one go in golf. So it's like, right, let's get a fix on, if fix is even the right word, but let's make an improvement in a particular thing. Let's see if we can start to make control of that. Let's see if we can repeat that, and then we'll figure out what the next thing is. So if that's actually, I'm consistently launching it and it's carrying 180, right, I've got that. Right, the next thing is, right, now can I straighten that up? And is that about straightening it up, or is that just about realigning that shot?
Right.
So giving you options.
Yeah. And for me, so I think I didn't see a couple of them because of the light. Yeah. But I think they were all
a bit to the right.
Going pretty hard right.
Yeah. So here's an interesting tip, right? Yeah. If you use 4 fingers, so 200 is our middle of the fairway, if you like. Sure. You've got 4 fingers left and 4 fingers right. Yeah. And if your ball is within those fingers, that's breaking 90. If 7 out of 10 of those balls are inside that, that's breaking 90.
It does make me want to use irons and get away from this.
Yeah. For now.
If that's what my goal was.
Yeah, if that's what your goal is. But let's say, right, our goal now is to say, right, okay, but let's see what we can do with this one here. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to bring that a little bit into play now. So I want you to be mindful of, so I want to maintain the launch, so we can do that by getting the tee to spring out the ground. So can we now, using the 4 fingers as the reference point, can we measure the shot in a sense of, has it finished within the boundaries that we've set? Okay?
Sure. 5 fingers, 6 fingers, 7.
Okay.
Had promise.
So hold your fingers up.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually right in there.
Isn't it surprising?
Yeah, it sure is.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's exactly what everyone does. Yeah. They go, oh no, it's too far, too far, too far.
How far am I? Like if I hold it up here, it's going to be
hold it arm's
full
length.
arm out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just inside that. Yeah.
Now, depending on, and again, this is the danger with this space. If there was water down the right-hand side, it's no longer a shot.
Yeah, exactly.
But if the water's all down the left-hand side and that's just rough on the right-hand side, that's done its shot. So has it gone beyond 180? It got close. Yeah. Is it within 4 fingers? Yeah. Yeah. So actually, when it comes to breaking 90, that shot's done its job.
Yeah.
Now, it's not a good shot
Yeah.
in the sense of you can do better,
Yeah.
but actually in the concept of playing the game,
Yeah.
that's done its job. So the question is can I do it again? There's going to be some natural variation in
Yeah.
everything that you do and every shot you play.
Yeah.
But if we were going to bring it back to our priority, so our priority will always be the distance, because those ones that you're topping, you're never breaking 90
Yeah.
with those shots.
Yeah.
With that shot, you got a chance of breaking
Yeah.
90. Yeah.
Interesting too how just changing the definition of good or whatever, right? Like
Yeah.
of whatever the quality is. It also, I mean, there's a legitimate shift in one's mental state. You know, if every shot is like, yeah, that wasn't as good as it could have been, and it tense up, then you start thinking internally and
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Interesting.
The other, just from a coaching perspective, actually,
Yeah.
on that one, I wouldn't normally have this conversation,
Yeah,
but it's like you build up, you eventually hit one, and it kind of justifies everything you've done previously.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you go, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. Right? Why can't I repeat that one?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
that's not the game. The game actually is about the previous, it's the previous 10 shots, including that one.
Yeah.
And how's that setting you up to play the game of golf?
Yeah.
And that's a shift I try and help students make, is to understand, yes, there is a time to focus towards that better shot and in making that better shot, but let's be clear, that's not about playing the game of golf.
Mm-hmm.
And when we practice, because golf is a game where not only do, as I showed you earlier, coaches don't watch their players play, they don't even watch them practice.
Yeah.
It's vulnerable. Like, people fall into this trap of,
Yeah.
I've got to hit the perfect shot.
It makes them fragile, and they're trying to master whatever these perfect techniques are, and then you go out and it's falling apart. And
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I can now start saying to you, right, we can focus on hitting better drives,
Yeah.
working towards that. That would look like a different session.
Yeah.
Or we can focus on playing drives that are going to break 90.
Yeah.
That's a different session. And we can do both of those sessions in this space now.
Yeah. That was the cleanest trajectory that I've hit.
Yeah. And what was the task on that swing? What are you trying to do?
I was thinking about slice. I wasn't making any like internal adjustments with that. I was just more conscious of it.
Yeah.
I don't know really what I did, but I was just more conscious of it.
Okay, cool.
Thinking about slice.
And in the scheme of breaking 90?
With that one? Yeah, I think so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely done its job. So
Yeah.
don't need to do anything more, just got to repeat it.
Yeah, I guess keep rolling. And I still am thinking of that tee every
Perfect.
time,
Perfect.
That one I didn't get the tee. Still playable.
So in the scheme of breaking 90, no bunkers, no water, nothing
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah.
What about that shot?
I have a shot at it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's within that
It's within that range. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, changes the way we approach each shot,
Yeah.
because actually that's done its job,
Yeah.
taking pressure off the tee. Now, if you wanted to contextualize it, you could take the first hole of your home course,
Yeah.
and then you can start to create a scenario that says, well, actually, I haven't got 4 fingers left because there's woods
Yes.
and hazards
Yeah.
down the left-hand side.
Yeah.
I've only got 6 fingers to the right, so I'm going to shift my alignment of that shot slightly to the right,
Mhm.
but I've only got 6 fingers.
Mhm.
The penalty for that might be 1 shot, 2 shots, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you can start to make the practice a little bit more complex, but more representative.
Yeah. Ooh. So my fade / slice is disappearing, hitting it straight and hitting it way that way. That's pretty funny. Back to the fade, but less so. What's interesting is like I'm really doing my best to avoid thinking about particular things in my body to make adjustments. I'm just thinking about it. If I was a really new golfer, and I could have, like with her putting, how her wrists were flopping, and so everything's all over the place. Like I just wonder if I'm at the point where I can do that, or can you do that as a new golfer? Can you just be like, keep your eye on the 200 and chances are you'll have a better shot of getting there rather than thinking about...
Yeah, so at the moment, I wonder, I think you can do that as a new golfer. Because I've used the trajectory thing. These wires are a godsend for me.
Yeah.
Because I say to people, like, you're hitting it underneath the wires,
Yeah.
can you hit it above the wires? And as soon as they look up and they start, moving differently because they're looking up, they're seeing up, and they adjust their body differently.
Yeah.
Because, okay, well, if that's what you want me to do, this is how I feel like I need to stand over it.
Because there is no right way for everybody,
no, absolutely.
system.
Yeah, I did a lesson the other day with a new student. He's just retired, but he's an ex-hockey, field hockey coach. And he was hitting everything flat left. And I said to him, there's a hockey goal in front of you. Can you score a goal top right-hand corner? And all of a sudden he's hitting these big, beautiful draws.
Isn't that interesting?
In top right-hand corner.
Yeah.
And it was fascinating that, like, he said, I didn't realise it was that easy. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not, because this is still a very stable environment.
Yeah.
But actually there's
Yeah.
a lot of principles there that we can learn from. And one of those principles is that actually having clarity, and I think this may be something that you're kind of alluding to, is you're seeking clarity in what you want to happen out there and tuning into that better than before, where you're worried about how you're going to swing it based on the assumption that if you swing it well, the ball will go well.
Yeah.
And even worse than that, you're potentially isolating a part of the swing, saying if I get this part of the swing well, that means I'll swing it well and the ball will go well.
Yeah.
Whereas now you look, things that I see different is you look much smoother, there's more tempo, there's more rhythm to your stroke, there's less hitting of the golf ball. The tee's definitely springing out the ground on a regular basis. They're the things that I'm noticing. Your setup is set up more towards launching it higher. They're all the differences that I'm seeing different that I've not asked you to necessarily do.
Right. There's just no panacea, like, oh, you're topping the ball, so just move your body and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And it ends up like where you get so narrowed into like all these all these prescripted tools that you end up, like just completely falling apart.
Yeah.
And then when you get out onto a regular course, then that's happening to me here.
Yeah.
Right. Now I got to hit out of some thicker grass and.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's do one more.
Yeah.
So we've had a nice little break there. So let's see if you can. So you've gone through a forgetting process,
Yeah,
which is
good.
nice.
Yeah.
So let's see on this one if you can go back through the remembering process, because
Yeah.
again, that's the really the thing we're after.
Yeah.
And then I'll give you a couple of things we can look at a little bit more in the swing. So we'll change the task a little bit.
Okay. Nope. Do you know what I did differently on that one? One thing. Well,
Cool.
probably a bunch of things. I was taking power.
Okay. So, but what a great thing to notice, right?
Yeah.
So, what's going to be the focus for this one?
Knocking the tee.
Yeah. Cool.
That's too funny. I'm like, oh, I'm getting the swing of this. Let me have a go. Nope. Same thing. Exact same thing. So I'm hitting it here. Maybe I'm just like lined up wrong because I hit both of them like that. I lost it.
Just coming down on the left. Good distance, going just past the 200 now. Rolled up into the rough at the back.
Okay.
Just to the left of the big bush
Okay.
on the mound.
All right. Yeah, good. I mean, that's interesting that, the external focus on the tee. So I was thinking, I was attempting to drive in the UK a couple of days ago. I did okay. But what I noticed was, because I was kind of reverting back to more beginner driving, like what my focus of attention was, that I was really hanging on the left side of the lane. And it's not until I get my focus way out in front where I can pull it back in. But then once I'm aware of it again, it's so weird.
Yeah.
And like, I remember hearing that when I was a kid, like learning how to drive, like looking at, but I can't see that. But it for some reason, it's amazing how it changes that.
Yeah. So when you have, so I like to think in golf, we want to start to develop action plans. So other people might call them pre-shot routines. But for me, I like the problem with pre-shot routine. It is a pre-shot routine, or part of a pre-shot routine. But the problem with pre-shot routines is people again see that as a behaviour of making 2 practice swings, taking 3 steps in, everything's fixed, everything's as opposed to designing an action plan which is specific to this one scenario that you've never faced before and will never face again. And I think that's a nice way of looking at it for golfers that are serious, regardless of whether they're looking to represent their country or whether they're trying to break 100 or 90. Is we just want to get good at designing action plans, and every shot that you play is going to require a slightly different action plan. The tee shot, interestingly enough, is the one that needs the least amount of adjustment because it's the most stable part of the golf shot. So the action plan would be fairly similar, or the most similar most of the time. So when we're going into the golf ball, and when we're playing the game of golf, because it's over such a long period of time, there are so many opportunities for distractions to creep in. And so me chatting with you about that and creating that space was a distraction, which then you came in, took you 3 balls to then find that one. So now we've done it again, we've created that space to have that chat. Can you do it in 3 balls or less? And suddenly that becomes your measure of progress. Is can you create the space, and then can you go back in and recreate that shot second time instead of the third time? Not about, oh, I didn't get it right first time again. So again, measuring progress in golf can be different to...
It's so hard too when you're playing on a course. It's not like you're going to hit the same ball 3 times to be like, all right, that's good. You only get that one.
Exactly.
Unless you're playing 2 ball.
I want to show you 2 of my favourite things. So these are a couple of things I would work on with Audrey as well. So this is a nice little rope exercise. So you're going to hold the rope like this, so it's got the grip on there for you, and you're basically just going to make swings where you wrap it around your body. So you're going to wrap it around so it kind of comes around here like this, and then you're going to wrap it around so it kind of comes from here like this. Be careful to start off with, because I don't want you kind of taking your eye out or anything, because it's got the beads, but you're just going to be back and through, back, through, wait for it to kind of wrap round, and just see if you can keep that momentum going. Okay? So just see if you can get that feeling of that motion.
Is this just emphasizing rhythm, swing rhythm?
Let's see where it goes.
Okay. Am I 2 hands?
That's it, 2 hands.
All right.
That's it. So just to fit onto the grip, that one would sit there like that. That one sits on there like that. That's it.
Okay.
And then you're going to swing it round. So just do it nice and slowly to start off with, and then through. Good. Good.
And am I swinging down? I'm swinging down like I'm hitting a ball, right?
Just swinging the rope around your body.
I'm not like baseball swinging.
No, yeah. So you're going to connect with where the ball would be.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Excellent. And you can do that now. You've got that feeling. Do it at a slightly more pace, a little bit more acceleration. Good. But do it in both. If you're going to accelerate, do it in both directions, not just on the way through. Good. Good.
So I want to make that. My brain wants to make sure the rope has an even swing all the way around, that it doesn't have a. When you're on a swing and you go too high, it kind of has a drop off.
Yes. Perfect. Right. Let go, and recreate that feeling. Do you want to go? It's got excited now, haven't you? Be careful, you don't do it too fast. Go and do it over there for me. Go on, just come here, Audrey. You recreate that feeling. Keep the golf club moving like you did the rope.
Okay.
So.
Oh my gosh, that feels so weird afterwards.
Yeah, and relax. Okay, how's that feel?
Oh.
Describe how it feels different. That's one of my coaching questions, by the way, that I'm trying to eliminate from my coaching. So I keep saying, how's that feel? Everybody says weird, horrible, rubbish.
They
it's
just
a
give
pointless
you
question.
Yeah.
What I'm really asking is, can you describe the difference between how that feels versus I'm not interested in how weird or
it's like asking her how her day at school was.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yes. Yeah, you know the answer. Don't bother asking the question. What am I really asking? So I'm asking, what can you describe the difference between that swing and what you were doing previously? Or can you just describe how that swing feels different?
I mean, way more fluid. It just feels all connected. Okay. It feels like my whole body's now connected, whereas before it felt almost like arms it was almost like a mostly arms and upper body thing.
Okay.
Now it's all just kind of part of a, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to take you, and I'll describe why I'm doing this now. So I'm taking you away from the 90 shot, so I'm not worried about it. So I'm not worried whether you top it or whether you miss it or whether it goes the best shot you've ever hit in the world. Yeah. What I'm interested in, how close can you replicate that feeling to that feeling? Okay. With the golf ball.
I think I'm just a little too close. I'll check it out. I did that 3 times.
That's okay. But how did that swing feel? As in, did it feel? If this was 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to change that, and I'll tell you what. I'm going to just change that. Just make the feelings with that swing. Okay. Okay, with the rope, and then we'll go straight into the.
My focus stays central.
Okay.
That, for me, like whatever that's intending to do, because I'm going back and forth, I'm just keeping that center, everything's centered. My focus, my balance. So I'm not just sort of wildly going through and which means I'm not pulling away and either bringing it or letting the club face go. Or
yeah, and again, this is the interesting thing for me. Again, going back to a coaching question, is like I find it fascinating that you're trying to make sense of this.
Yeah.
And like, do you even need to make sense of this?
From a coaching standpoint, I feel like I need to make sense of it.
But even from a playing perspective, I think players will go, why is that working? Why does that feel... I mean, those 2 golf shots you've hit there are breaking 80 shots comfortably. They're mid-70 shots, like mid-70 shooting shots, comfortably. Yeah. But somehow we've got to make sense of what is it? Or this is... Maybe golf lends itself more to this than other sports just because you've got the time. Yeah. Okay, what is it that I did different?
Exactly.
That I can do next time that makes sure that happens every single time?
Yeah, like you're almost trying to break it down into discrete... individualize, like what is the specific thing I'm doing rather than which so the focus of attention goes inward when we try to analyze that stuff rather than keeping it
where it is. So again, that movement's coupled up with that feeling of swinging the rope but then produces that. So that shot then is like, that's the movement that's coupled up with that shot.
Another one. 2 fingers.
Yeah, so they're 3 of the best shots you've hit all day, I suspect as well. If not the first 2 strikes there, 2 of the best strikes you've ever hit. That first one, just the look on your face. Yeah. That's a gift that that's the best payment a coach can ever have, isn't it? That unexpected look of achievement on the face of a student. It's like, oh my God, did I just
That also says something about my game.
But it's like, I like that. I like that. And again, I find that fascinating because again, if we go back to just doing that exercise, do I, as a coach, I'm asking you what the difference is in the feeling of the swing. Do I even need to do that? Do I need to go through that process? Yeah. Or is it, because I guess, again, what I'm trying to do is trying to help you go, right, when you walk away from me or when I turn my back and go away, what is it that you're taking? Because you haven't got that. Yeah. Now, either you buy one of those and that becomes your thing. And I think that's a brilliant thing. If I was to gift one training aid to, it would probably be a rope. I use a towel. I get... students use a bath towel and tie a knot in the end of the bath towel because it replicates a similar. It's got just a weight on the end of something floppy. Yeah. So that feeling you've got there, and your swing, when you look at your swing there versus where you were at the start, very different motions. And I could have potentially talked to you about body rotation and how to shift weight and how to isolate all of those moments over a period of 6 or 7 lessons. But the reality is you've done that in 3 shots.
Part of me thinks that part of me wants to know in the sense that I want to be able to be attuned to what my focus of attention needs to be on, or whatever that is, so that when I have those moments of difficulty on a course, I don't need to be like Just give me a minute, guys.
Yeah.
Got my rope. I'll be right over.
Yeah.
So is this, like I said, like a centering thing, which it just kind of even things out. And that, I don't know if that's a bad thing to let people know. Do you know what I mean?
Or for them to discover. Because
yes.
what's interesting...
But then to be aware of that is a centering thing. Because, I mean, I kind of found that.
Yes.
Right? But almost like let them feel it before they can name it.
Yeah.
You know?
And one thing I'm getting better at is keeping quiet and acknowledging to myself that says, right, that's your experience, but that might not have been John's experience last week or Jane's experience next week. Like, that's your experience, so I'm cool with that. Yeah, and if they go, actually, I feel like I'm more centered and there's more of a swinging motion. There's more, like you mentioned, the swing back and through, but there's also associated with that timing and tempo and rhythm.
Yes.
And all, and I don't think you can't isolate any of that. And if that's captured in that centered feeling, brilliant.
Yeah, and it's so hard as a coach to not.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you almost have to put as much work for me anyway, coming from that.
Yeah.
From that world, is that I'm doing as much work keeping my mouth shut as I am, you know,
And you're an organism as well, right? So if you're going to go, Harry, let's say you would go, I love this, I'm going to go and hit some balls this afternoon after Harry Potter, right? Are you going to be able to capture that feeling without that?
Right.
You're going to be a different body this afternoon, you're going to be a different body tomorrow, you're going to be, so again, do we have the time? Do you have the time to kind of develop that feeling of recreating that so it's more reliable, day after day, time after time? Or do we accept, okay, today I'm just not feeling it in this way, so here's the adjustments I'm going to make to try and bring me back. This is the best I've got today. And that's where the strategy stuff comes in with golf. So rather than fighting this battle to try and hit the perfect shot, go, actually, these are the tools I've got today. Right, maybe today's not a breaking 90 day, maybe today's just about breaking 100. Because that'll be a good round today.
Yeah, that's interesting. And maybe, like you said, this is your favorite one, like this, for that centering thing, it's such a great tool because it's everything working together. It's not like, well, your left knee's not bent enough. Then you just get caught in that trap.
Exactly. Your footwork was completely different swinging that rope to how it was.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because, part of it, because I knew I was coming back.
Yeah.
And then you just get in a rhythm.
Yes.
It's interesting.
And then you accelerated. You started to accelerate. Brilliant. Yeah. And you accelerated in an appropriate way.
Yeah.
You weren't trying to hit it hard. And I think if that's one of the biggest differences, I'm going to put words in your mouth, but potentially, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but the difference potentially is you almost described earlier, actually you feel like you're swinging the club and the ball just gets in the way, as opposed to you're trying to hit the ball. Yeah.
My biggest problem with my short game is that I'm not swinging through, I chop.
Yeah.
And I'm aware of that, and I can't get my distances down because I'm not swinging through it. So anyway.
Go ahead and do a few swings with the rope. So get yourself recentered.
What is interesting with this rope
is
that it does make me choose a certain grip. I have to use that grip.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because that's not what my normal grip is. I could tell I was inside that a little bit, but look at that one. That was a beauty.
And I guess the critical thing here, if you want to get good at repeating this, then one of the most undervalued parts of developing yourself in golf is the post-shot routine. So how do you reinforce the good stuff that you did that produced that shot?
Rather than get caught in watching, just be thinking about.
Yeah, because your evaluation of that shot, look at that shot, how good's that shot? Yeah, there's no connection to actually what was my contribution to that?
Yeah.
What did I do that actually contributed towards that? That I want to do again going forward.
Yeah. Not to get lost in the outcome. I understand.
So there for me is like, so that is about, so now what I would do is take you back into, right, we want to break 90, so now I'd start setting you some challenges and some targets. Now I might do something along the lines of, right, we're going to go at the 200-yard marker. If you finish between the yellow and black and on the left-hand side and the 200 mark, that's a birdie. If you finish 2 fingers left of that, that's a par. If you finish 2 fingers left of that bush, that's a bogey. But if you miss it to the right of the 175, that's a double bogey. So now I'm kind of contextualising it in a squat, and then I might flip that round. And your task really is, well, all I'm ever trying to do is stay centred.
Yeah.
To get the T-peg springing out the ground.
Yeah.
Because that's helping me stay centred. And then am I just pointing that shot in the right direction? And so, and then the next level for me there would be, okay, well, we need to go out and spend some time on the golf course.
Yeah. Awesome.